The Xbox Series X is graced with some great games, showing just how serious Microsoft is about making the Xbox brand as alluring as possible. With Xbox Game Pass thriving as always, and the console being populated with many great games, it goes without saying that this console generation is one to look out for. If Microsoft plays its cards right, then the Xbox brand may just go toe-to-toe with PlayStation in terms of offering players a wealth of unique games to check out. Hey there everyone, and welcome to Game Rant, Geoffrey here. In this video, I'll be showcasing 10 great single-player games to check out on Xbox Series X. Let's dive into the list. Number 10, Yakuza Like a Dragon. The idea of a real-time brawling game like Yakuza switching over to a turn-based format made for a worrying sight for many fans. They had no idea if Like a Dragon could pull off such a drastic switch in gameplay, only for players to be proven completely wrong, as the Dragon engine showed just how malleable it was. Like a Dragon is a brilliant game that introduces a new protagonist, Ichiban Kasuga. His goofy but determined attitude made him a great protagonist, with his journey of vengeance leading him to fight against some familiar faces in incredible boss fights, where players must whip out a wealth of abilities to attain success. Number 9, Hogwarts Legacy. The hype around Hogwarts Legacy was through the roof, especially since a lot of gamers loved the idea of an open world series in a world that they grew up with. While there are a lot of people who feel that Hogwarts Legacy missed the mark when it comes to what a Harry Potter game should feel like, that shouldn't take away from its allure in the slightest. Role-playing as a Hogwarts student and exploring the landscapes in and around this magical school makes for a great time indeed. The game may have been a missed opportunity in some ways, but most players can't go wrong with this game if they're huge Harry Potter fans. Number 8, Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2077 is a video game that launched in such a pitiful state that many people just wrote it off instead of giving CD Projekt Red a chance. However, it didn't take long for the developer to turn things around. Now, with the launch of Update 2.0 and Phantom Liberty, Cyberpunk 2077 is finally living up to its potential of being one of the greatest action-adventure game players can actually check out. The game is more stable than ever before and deserves its time in the spotlight. Number 7, Halo Infinite Single-Player Mode. There's no denying that the multiplayer component of Halo Infinite has failed somewhat, halting progression behind a massive grind and not really featuring too much content for players to get invested in the first place. It's a shame since the single-player campaign was definitely quite engaging. It's the first Halo game to adopt an open-world structure, which is done pretty neatly. Players who are invested in Master Chief's story will have a great time blazing through the campaign, even if some elements of it won't feel all that new or revolutionary in any way. Number 6, Psychonauts 2. The wait for Psychonauts 2 was agonizing at one point, so fans were finally glad to find out that they could enjoy Rasputin's mind-bending shenanigans once again once they got their hands on the game. The novelty of exploring a person's mind is still quite fresh, and it helps that Psychonauts 2 features some great gameplay and visual improvements. As a result, the platforming feels natural and exciting to engage with. Combat has also taken a turn for the better, allowing players to use a wealth of abilities to tackle their enemies while uncovering a sinister plot in the process. Number 5, Hi-Fi Rush. Shadow-dropping Hi-Fi Rush was a bold move for the Xbox brand, with the game surprising everyone with its colorful visuals, excellent soundtrack, and scintillating action that made for a breath of fresh air. Combining rhythm and action gameplay has reaped major dividends every time, and Hi-Fi Rush is no exception to this golden rule. It's a shame that the game wasn't the killer app that Microsoft hoped would convince more people to try out Game Pass, since it deserved way more love than it got at launch. But for what it's worth, players who did manage to check this title out loved what it had to offer and couldn't stop talking about how imaginative the gameplay was, leading to some effective word-of-mouth marketing that allowed many players to discover this title. Number 4, Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 is one of the most experimental AAA games players can check out. The meta-narrative in this title is truly ludicrous and goes to show just how brilliant Remedy is at crafting some truly engaging video game experiences. The journey that Alan Wake 2 takes players on is a truly riveting one, and this roller coaster ride doesn't stop delivering its fair share of thrills at every step of the way. It's a narrative that would only be possible in the realm of video games, which makes Alan Wake 2 pretty revolutionary indeed. Number 3, Dead Space Remake. Dead Space is a game that already looked pretty mind-blowing, and most people wondered if a remake of this title was even warranted. However, it didn't take long for EA to show just how much room there really was for improvement in this game. The Dead Space remake is a thing of beauty, well, I guess terrifying beauty to behold, and some of its levels have been expanded upon as well. The end result is a masterful gaming experience that will scare players out of their wits over and over and over again. Number 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake. Many people were worried that the attempt to remake Resident Evil 4 would end up leaving a sour taste in everyone's mouths, given how the original game is a gem of a survival horror title that featured the perfect amount of camp while introducing players to a new control scheme in the form of over-the-shoulder shooting that has become synonymous in most similar titles today. However, despite losing some of the original's charm, Resident Evil 4 was a brilliant title that floored everyone with its incredible presentation and faithfulness to the original game. Capcom's string of Resident Evil remakes has been brilliant, and this game was no exception either. Number 1, Elden Ring. From Software took the world by storm with an amazing open-world RPG that combined the best parts of their combat and level design to make for a truly special experience. Controlling the Tarnished and uncovering the truth behind this game makes for a great time all around, with the amazing exploration and excellent combat encounters feel satisfying. There's no denying that Elden Ring has a problem with the excessive recycling of boss fights and a huge leap in difficulty midway through the game. However, these issues are minor in the grand scheme of things, and fans of Elden Ring can't wait for the upcoming DLC to sweep them off their feet all over again. And there we have it, everyone. 10 great single-player games available on Xbox Series X for you to check out when you get the chance. Thank you so much for watching this video from Game Rant. Be sure to stop by the website for all sorts of other top-notch gaming content, including more lists, news, reviews, guides, originals, and so much more right here on Game Rant. Have a truly wonderful and happy day, everyone. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.